calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
I love that movie. I love that line. I remember sitting in the movie theaters when they came out and everybody cracking up. And to this day, still makes me laugh. And in this video, I'm going to show you some serious stuff in terms of prices for things that you can actually find while sourcing. Some harder than others that are related to items that are in the movies and would sell for at least $100 and sometimes much more than that. And so the reason that I'm showing you this clip, not just because it's funny, but if you go over here and you take a close look at the video camera that Michael J. Fox is holding, this camera has now become quite famous for being in that movie. And there were a lot of them made, and I bet you that a lot of you right now who are watching this have seen this video camera before back in the 80s. This one here is the JVC GRC1U. This is just a great vintage piece right here, and people still use these old video cameras and camcorders. This one is not only famous now for being in Back to the Future, but it's also famous for being in Stranger Things. So this cuts across several generations. So in Stranger Things, it was used to film and record the Upside Down monster. So really, really neat piece. This one recently sold for as high as $500 plus $25 shipping. And just as an aside, if you go out and you're sourcing and you see camcorders around, or old video cameras, check the comps on them. Don't just think that they are worthless old pieces of junk. I sold one last night that someone just gave me as a donation because they thought that it was worthless, and it sold for $42.50 without the battery. It did work when plugged in. And you know, keep in mind too that while these look like heavy, big pieces of equipment, you often can ship these priority mail cubic rate. And so that is going to save you a lot of money. If you're not familiar with that, make sure you go and look into places like Pirate Ship where you could do cubic rate shipping. So that's one example. I'm going to show you 6 other ones as well. So the next one here, and this one will be harder to find. Anything with designer sunglasses will be harder to find, or designer glasses. These are the black red checkers Von Zipper Fulton sunglasses that Tony Stark wore in Iron Man. Now a lot of people know that I am really into comic books. I love the Marvel movies, and I love Tony Stark. You know, I was sitting there talking to my son the other day about, you know, which character is my favorite when you factor in their character when they're not dressed up always in their suit. And I've got to really go with Tony Stark. I think he's hilarious. I love Robert Downey Jr. playing that character. A lot of people think he's super cool, the guys and the ladies, and people love these sunglasses right here. Now these are pre-owned glasses, so you know, back when the movie came out, you know, people were trying to, you know, buy these up and get this, you know, get them. And you know, now some people will be more willing to let go of something like this. So you know, you may have to find things like designer glasses through somebody who collects things like this. You might actually find these, actually, believe it or not, through someone who is really into collecting comic book memorabilia. You may find something like that in a collection like that. You're not going to see something like this sitting around in a garage sale, whereas, you know, something like this you very well could, and the person who's selling it might have absolutely no recognition or knowledge that this was something that was in Back to the Future or Stranger Things. So, you know, a lot of times for these more high-end items, like you could see here, this one's sold at auction for $750. These could be things that sometimes you might, if you buy storage units, you might find something like it there. You may also find it at a high-end estate sale. So as I said earlier, some of these things would be harder to find than others, but as you can see here, they are out there and people are selling them. This one here is a really cool piece. I bet if Don the auction professor is watching this, he would really love a piece like this. So this is a vintage Ronson touch tip lighter, as seen in the movie The Maltese Falcon. I will show you the clip with this in just a moment. If you have not seen a touch tip lighter, you will come across Ronson products. I promise you, if you go to enough estate sales, you will definitely see them. A lot of people purchase things like this. But if you come across this at a sale and just think, this is just some worthless piece of junk, even if it doesn't even work, people will still want a piece like this because they could relate it to the movie. Let me actually show you this. You can see here, this one sold for $700. I'll show you the brief clip here of this in the movie and show it working. It works exactly how the description of it sounds. Let me show you it right here real quick. It's a real quick scene.
Thursday. I don't know where she met him. We've never been as...
So you see that right there, touch tip lighter right there. He just presses it right down there and then he lights it right up. So just do that right again, right there on the bottom there. There you go, touch tip lighter. And really cool way to light up a cigarette back in the day. So, you know, Maltese Falcon, famous movie, and people will love to get items like this, even again if it doesn't work, just to have a piece of the movie. Now, it obviously wasn't literally the exact item in the movie, but people love to replicate scenes and replicate movies. In a way, it makes them feel kind of close to the characters. This not only works for movies, but it also works for television shows as well. And a theme that you are going to see, and this is something you want to keep in mind if you could start acquiring some knowledge about what types of items were in different films or in different TV shows, is to use that as a marketing strategy for your item. So instead of just listing it as a vintage Ronson touch tip lighter, type in the Maltese Falcon movie. Now, yes, it's true that there's people who are hardcore collectors of the Maltese Falcon movie that might be looking for this exact piece, and you know, it doesn't matter for that type of collector if you have the words Maltese Falcon in the title, because they're just going to search for the vintage Ronson touch tip lighter. But there are also people who may not be aware exactly of what the name of that item is. They might think it's really cool, and they're just searching for Maltese Falcon movie memorabilia. And so in that context, they may come across your listing, but if you leave that out, then it's not going to be in there. That's why it's important to use this as seen, and you see it right up top here. It's a common theme in these types of listings. So make sure you go check that out. Now, the next one, this one is going to sell no matter what, regardless of the fact that this was in Guardians of the Galaxy. You can see Starman right there. Another great movie and a great character. And you remember the Walkman scene. If you saw the movie, there he is holding the Walkman right there. But this is actually... and it's interesting because if you came across this and you don't know much about electronic devices, you may just easily walk right by this and not realize what this is because it doesn't really look all that special, right? Looks kind of fairly generic and stuff. I mean, it says Sony on it, but it doesn't look like it has too many bells and whistles. But this is actually the first Walkman that Sony made that was released in the United States in 1980. So really, really cool piece right here. Always goes for good money if you could find it. I always tell you, general rule of thumb, if you see Walkman, definitely look into picking it up and check the model number and the comps, particularly if it's a well-known brand like Sony or Panasonic or Aiwa. And some of those vintage Walkman will sell, even if they don't work, they'll sell for parts because people in repair shops or people who have one need to fix up their one that's damaged. A lot of people love using these, playing their cassettes in them. There's a lot of nostalgia behind it. So you could see this one here sold for $500 plus $10.50 shipping. But again, this is an item that's going to sell regardless of whether you put Guardians of the Galaxy in the title or not, but still it doesn't hurt to put that in that definitely can help increase the reach. And everything you could do to help increase the reach of your item is something to think about. And so that's another thing I really just want to bring out in this video is another type of marketing strategy to use to get your items in front of as many people as possible. So the next item I'm going to show you, this goes back to glasses or sunglasses, and this is going to be a tricky one to find too, because this one is actually new without tags. So you'd really have to find this from a higher end collector. If you're not familiar, Dolce and Gabbana is a famous high end designer fashion brand. It's tricky to come across their items, but I do know people who have come across Dolce and Gabbana items. Their prices range all over the place, but for these glasses here, these are very popular with this floral design here. Sorry, let me make it a little bit longer here that it's on the screen so you can get the full effect of it. And the reason why this is popular, you could see this one is in the Ocean's 8 movie. You could see here worn by Helena Bonham Carter. Right over here, there's a picture right there of her wearing it, and there's another picture down below of her wearing that as well. So eyeglasses, sunglasses, real popular, tend to be more popular things to pick up closer to the time that the movie is released. Now, one that has really held interest in people over time is this watch, the Pulsar P2 LED watch. This is a famous watch from the James Bond movies, and this is just one example, but there are websites and YouTube channels just having sections devoted to James Bond's watches that showed up in film. And this was one that was shown and worn by Roger Moore. As you could see here in Live and Let Die, he's wearing it right there across his wrist right there. And you're going to see to the side sometimes that people have these crazy prices, like these ads will show up in terms of, like thousands of dollars asking for some of these items, and they're just unrealistic ask prices. What I'm showing you is actual completed sold data, and I'm showing you the high end of it so you know potential. So it's sold for as high as $375, but it's also sold for less than that. But again, if you happen to come across this watch, this Pulsar watch, and you see it looks kind of scratched up and stuff, it's it's a bit beat up, it's a bit tarnished, how many of you would have picked that up or would have just walked by that? A lot of people would have walked by that. That's why you really have to have the knowledge, and you have to have the love of learning and link that up to reselling, because that knowledge is really and truly power, and it gives you a competitive edge when you go outsourcing for people who just don't know what these pieces are. So again, something that really can help you out. The last piece that I'm going to show you here is the Sony TR911. This is a great item right here because it's another perfect example. I can't tell you how many different radios I come across to when I go to estate sales. I see them all the time. A lot of the old ones that look just like this, these old Sonys, or there's different brands that have the handle, the rectangular shape, just like that. I see a lot of them. This was used in Good Morning Vietnam. It is the radio that the soldiers use to listen to Robin Williams when he's doing the announcing. So a lot of different ideas out there. This one sold for $87.78 plus $50 shipping. So all of these items here sold for a gross total of $100 or more. And there's lots of other potential items out there. I'm just showing you some that sold recently. If you want to just do some interesting digging around and explore the area yourself so you can learn more of these, you could go and just do a completed sold search on eBay yourself, and make sure you use the words "as seen in" and put those in double quotes, because that will link up anything that that had that in the title. So I hope you found this video interesting. Hope it gave you some ideas of things to look for and another way to market the item. It is 12:30, not 12:30 at night. It's actually 1:47 in the morning that I'm making this video for you. It's just been crazy, so much stuff going on. But I love making the videos. I hope that you enjoy the content. But it is December 30th. So looks like hitting that 10,000 subscribers is probably going to be out of the ballpark for the end of the month, but I'm just going to put a pitch out there that if you're enjoying the content, enjoying the videos, I know a lot of you have been watching, especially lately, I really appreciate it, and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and let others around know, like let your family members know. Let them know we got a little challenge here trying to get up to 10K, so it would be funny if we could do it. If not, we'll hit it in the beginning of January, but you know, I just thought it would be a fun thing to do and again throw out there. So remember, I have announced this on my Facebook group. If you're not a member there, I have a live show that is coming up January 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and the theme is called So You Want to Be a YouTuber. So if you're interested in YouTube and learning more about it, and you haven't started a channel, or maybe you've just dabbled around a little bit and you want to get more serious, come check out that interview that I do with Casey the Rockstar Flipper. He's nearing 100,000 subscribers, so you'll get both ends of the continuum in terms of experience and you know, kind of answering questions back and forth, and we'll take questions from the chat on that topic. So if you watch this video after January 1st and you're interested in the topic, go back, check my playlist section where I have live shows listed, and you can go check it out there. Speaking of the Facebook group, make sure you join that. That's the Facebook Reselling Resource Center and my Instagram account at prime_time_treasure. The links are down below in the description section. Make sure you hit that like button before you go. Give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you all at the next video, everyone. Take care.